Good evening, everyone. This is Dayhawk, your favorite Daedric Prince, bringing to you episode 4 of Shaman King 2021. What can I say? It was an okay episode. Because after watching the 04 version, I have to say 04 is the best versus the reboot. And I'll tell you why. In the 04 version, it had a lot of depth and it was an emotional roller coaster and a fun two-parter episode. It was fun compared to the reboot, which I mean, I don't know. Like I said with reboots, like why reboot a classic? Rebooting Shaman King, whatever reason, didn't really needed a reboot, in my opinion. What I'm gonna do is talk about the 04 version, and then when it comes to the reboot, I'm just gonna plug in what was added and what was taken away, because I'm hoping that you guys already seen episode 4, so I don't really need to do a recap all that much, but I will make it brief, short and sweet, because I don't want to have this long of a review. So yeah, I'll do my best. In 04, we get to see Ryu be all disappointed in himself because he wants to be a shaman. He wants to be a shaman so badly, but he's just wondering, like, do I have what it takes? He doesn't know what he's doing because all that he's doing is just doing house chores around the house. That's all he's doing. He's just wondering, like, is it gonna go somewhere and we're gonna do some shaman training? Like, what's going on? And he doesn't come back to the house because earlier in the episode, Yo and Manta returned back from, I think it was training, and Anna was standing there just like, you're late. Like, we usually come around this time, said Manta. I'm like, I'm hungry. Ryu hasn't come back in quite some time. So Anna just tells them, you go to the grocery store, you're gonna cook now. And of course they're like, oh, really? And leading into this scene where Muscle Punch takes Ryu to this abandoned bowling alley, declaring that this is going to be a new best place. They go inside, take a look around, and out of nowhere, Ryu just punches him. And he was wondering, why did you punch me, this and that. It's like, first of all, the bowling alley is too far away from any convenience stores, for one. But the second part is, like, you don't understand what the true meaning of the best place is. And he gives a mini speech about the best place is not about the place itself. It's more about your heart and your soul being at peace. And everyone was all crying and just run towards him to give him a hug, and they leave. And that's where it leads to Ryu, like, you know what, let's just have fun for a little bit and then leave. And then they went back inside, they were bowling and just hanging out. Late that night, you get to see Yo and Manta getting the stuff from the grocery store, heading back, and then they notice that the lights were on at this abandoned place, and Monta was like, "That's odd. I thought this place was abandoned." So they went inside to check it out, and that's when Ryu noticed them approaching the building. He leaves and goes into hiding in the girls' bathroom, and the gang meets with Yo and Monta, wondering like, where is Ryu at? And they've noticed that he's gone, so they went out to search for him. And that's when Monta and Yo felt something malevolent in the building, and that's where he talks to them and warning them like, when you find Ryu, you need to leave, because he never mentioned that it was haunted, but he just noticed that something is creepy going around that bowling alley, whatever. So they left first. And then heading into the cutscene where Ryu is hiding in the girls' bathroom. He was like mentioning that he can't face Yo yet. He felt, because again he felt disappointed. He wants to give up being a shaman, and that's when Tokageroh, the king of bandits, approaches him in the form of a lizard at first. Talks to him about, oh, you want power? You want to be a shaman? I can help you. And of course, Ryu gets spooked, and before he gets to react or anything, he gets possessed. And then we head into back home with Yo, Anna, and Monta, and after 25 times, they got it right because the last 24 wasn't so good. And Monta heads home for the night. Yo cleans the dishes and tells Anna about the spirit, this ominous spirit living in the bowling alley, and goes to do some research. Heading back to the bowling alley, Ryu's friends noticed something odd about him. He was like munching all the food, and as he was drinking something, he spits it out like soda. Like, what is this? Like, I wanted alcohol. Like, we can't get alcohol. It's like, we can't. Like, oh man. And then he mentions about Amidamaru's katana, Hasurume. I pronounced it right, I think. Well, sorry if I butchered the name, but he was wondering where was Amidamaru's sword at, and it was at the museum. And as up to that point, Tokageroh wants to get revenge on Amidamaru for killing him in 600 years ago. So he wants revenge. So he figured the only way to get to him is to get his sword and to kill him with it. That's his plan. So Muscle Punch tells him it's at the museum. They go to the museum, and Mata noticed the gang heading inside the museum, so he follows them inside, and he noticed Ryu breaking in to the case, stealing the sword. Muscle Punch tries to stop him, like, this isn't you, what are we doing? And he gets stabbed on top of the leg, of his leg. And Mata runs away. He gets captured, and Tokageroh mentioned him by name. Now he could go to the house and get his revenge. And Yo hears a scream while he was in the bathroom. Amidamaru and Anna pretty much not really storm into the bathroom, but it's just they were like talking to him while he was peeing. It's like, dude, like, let me pee. Guys, please. And Anna was like, it's a bad omen from the stars. Something bad has happened to Manta. And that's where it leads to the showdown between possessed Ryu, Yo, and Aminomaru. Now, heading into the next episode in the 04, Anna tells off the ghost to reveal himself, and he reveals to be Tokageroh. I'm the king of bandits. I want revenge against you, Aminomaru. Do you know who I am? And the funniest thing is that Aminomaru does not remember him. I killed so many people back then. How should I remember you? And Tokageroh was disappointed, butthurt. He's even more angry. And mind you, Manta was gagged and tied up on one of his arms, just like it's so funny. And Yo and Ryu were starting fighting each other, and that's where Manta gets ungagged and mentions that that's Aminomaru's sword. And they were shocked. Oh, Aminomaru was shocked. Like, why is my sword in the hands of a thief? And Tokageroh mentions his plan. He wants to kill you with it, and he wants to kill him with it. And then, yeah, that's his plan. And of course, it ends up backfiring to the point where the possessed Ryu tries to kill himself with the sword because he figured, well, since I can't kill Manta because Yo ends up out fighting him, he ends up trying to, okay, I'll kill him, kill your one of your friends. And of course Anna's like, go ahead, kill him. And Tokageroh's like, what, you don't care about him? Like, what's going on? Because Anna points out, if he ends up killing himself, his spirit gets forced out, and then what's part of his plan? Like, Anna mentions, like, okay, so your spirit gets forced out, then what's your plan next? And yeah, he's just like, it's like he lost right there. And just when he's about to kill himself, Aminomaru ends up breaking the sword, and he was even more shocked, like, why did you break the sword? Like, I didn't count on you breaking the sword. And he mentions that it's more about bonds between Aminomaru and his best friend. It's more about bond than any object. And I'm willing to destroy my sword in order to save someone's life, and that was a powerful thing. And you get to see Aminomaru in tears. And Tokageroh wanted to get up, but the body was worn out and tired, because Anna also mentions that since Ryu hasn't hasn't been officially trained in the ways of the shaman, the body is weak. The body is really weak. So he at that point he's just like, his plan got destroyed. And so Yo mentioned, like, just go in peace, like, it's over, it's done. And he's like, no, I came here for revenge. And Anna just like, okay, if you're not gonna go go in peace, then I'll do it by force. And Yo was just like, no, let me handle this. Come possess me and claim your revenge. All these people were in shock, of course. And eventually, Tokageroh gets possessed. Tokageroh possesses Yo and grabs the broken katana and tries to kill himself with it, but couldn't do it. And Amirimaru mentioned that it's that it isn't revenge that you're feeling, it's more about loneliness, because for 600 years you've been killing, stealing, trying to survive, and you felt lonely after all these years. And being inside of Yo had, felt this warmth about him, which made Tokageroh not to finish the job per se. And it's all, overall, and those 3 episodes were all about friendships, bonds, and and it's just a really good 2 episodes in the 04 version. In the end, however, Anna gets pissed off. Like, you made me feel all this way, all worried about you, and because of it, I'm gonna train you even harder. Yeah. What's missing in your reboot is that Ryu is not interested in being a shaman just yet. He's not interested in being a shaman yet. And he got easily possessed because he wants revenge on Yo after what happened in the first episode. What's different in the reboot is, again, Ryu has no interest in being a shaman. Ryu got kicked out in the first abandoned building by Tao Ren. Apparently that's his place, and his hair got chopped off for the second time. He Muscle Punch discovers the bowling alley, which is the same. The only difference is he noticed Anna for the first time, gets shut down. He follows her back to the house, where he discovers that Anna is, a fiance. Yo is the future husband, and Ryu runs away. And at that time before, Yo and Manta went out of their way to buy a new wooden katana for Ryu after what happened in the last episode. And Manta gets to see the house for the first time and wondering, like, why did you get the house so cheap? And Anna pretty much tells, well, we're living in a haunted house. And he runs off. He runs off. Ryu gets possessed inside the front entrance of the bowling alley. And instead of saying the words, do you want to have power? Do you want to become a shaman? It's more like, do you want revenge? And I can help you. And he gets possessed. The possessed Ryu gets to drink alcohol. And Manta, at the wrong place at the wrong time, went inside the bowling alley to investigate, and that's where he gets captured. Now, the scene where the gang breaks into the museum, it's not there in this particular episode. They went directly to the confrontation at the front of the house. And everything is the same. up until Aminomaru breaks the sword while Ryu tries to stab Manta. Without hesitation, that is. He just breaks it. Um, and Manta was not gagged. He was not taped up. He was tied up, but he tries to warn Yo that hey, he stole Aminomaru's sword, but Ryu ends up punching him to be quiet. Anna in this episode was more engaged, like, if you're not gonna leave Ryu, I'm gonna force you out. And Yo was like, let me handle this one. Because Anna has that power to take spirits from heaven and hell, and if there's a spirit there, she can make them rest in peace. So she's really powerful. Tokageroh, everything's the same. Tokageroh appears, reveals himself, and asks, like, do you know me? Do you know who I am? And again, it wasn't as funny as in Yo 4. Everything is so serious in this current version. Like, and again, Amiramal does not know him, and Tokageroh mentions how he ate his mom in order to survive. Like his mom gave herself up for her boy to survive in that cruel environment, which is which is a thing that it wasn't mentioned in 04, which was very interesting. His mom named him Tokageroh, the lizard, because it means survival and all that stuff. So everything remains the same except for that mini backstory, and pretty much ends with Anna getting pissed off. Yeah, so that pretty much the end wraps up the 04. Except, yeah, I forgot to mention at the end of that episode, you get to see Taoren with a different outfit, mentioning Yo that he's coming after him and he will become Shaman King, and that's the end. And that's the end of episode 4. Overall, again, the 04 version is so much better. Even though in the reboot we get to, get a little bit of a backstory with Tokageroh, but overall, those 3 episodes, mind you, the 04 is a 2-parter. It's pretty much the same thing, just added more contact, took away more contact, because in 04, in Ryu's case, he's training to become a shaman, and he's very disappointed in himself. That's why he just runs and hides from Yo, because he felt disappointed in himself. He doesn't know if he has what it takes to become a shaman, versus Ryu's 2021 version is he has no interest in becoming a shaman just yet. He's still considered to be a bad guy, but we get to see that he's not all bad because he cares about his friends. In both versions, his friends mention how Ryu is not a bad man. He pretty much took them under his wing, per se, and became friends with them. And they had this speech how, he was a good friend. I was down in the dumps and Ryu came into my life, and we went to having adventures, went to a spa, hang out, and just to show that he's not a bad man. Which it was more executed in 04 than in the reboot, because again, it's just he's still in bad guy mode, but it's getting into motion or transitioning to the Ryu that we all know and love, and hopefully in the later episodes in this reboot, we get to see him wanting to become a shaman. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen. And 04, it was there were 2 episodes prior to this episode, which I don't know. They're probably gonna add those 2 episodes from 04 into a later episode in the reboot. I know it doesn't make sense right now, but what I'm doing again is compare and contrast both versions because I'm seeing both, and it's really hard for me to do a review on both, which I'm discovering right now. So what I'm gonna do for the next one is make some notes and say what it's different, what's the same, and that's it. And that's your review. Hopefully you can join me on the next review on episode 5. And yeah, this is Dayhawk signing off. Johnny!